Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and after fixing earlier's mishap, we're back with another video for today. We're taking the EZA Android 16 from the Dragon Ball Fighters, the Dragon Ball Fighters crossover one, who recently just got EZA'd. We're taking him into SBR, not ESBR, so we can give him a run out and kind of take advantage of the androids part of his passive. So this is probably one of the few occasions that I'm actually gonna be doing or taking a unit into a form of super / extreme super battle road twice. And for once, it's actually not Dokkan's fault. It's honestly, it's not Dokkan's fault. I mean, to be fair, it partially is because there isn't a currently there isn't an android's extreme super battle road, but that's okay. The other part that kind of, I don't know how to put it, because it's not a hindrance, but the other part that kind of, it's to do with 16 essentially. So ideally you want him on an androids category team. So it's kind of Dokkan's fault because there's no ESBR with androids, but also he's a super type unit, which obviously not a lot of the androids units are, like apart from MVP 17 and another version of MVP 17, like the free-to-play version. The androids category team isn't really a super team. It's primarily an extreme team. So with it kind of being because Android 16 is a super type unit, and also because there isn't an extreme or not an extreme super battle road androids category stage currently, then I'm gonna kind of do essentially a bit of both. And by that, what I mean is I'm going to take him into, currently of course we're taking him into SBR right now on the androids category, because as I said, that's kind of ideally where you want to be taking him. So I want to test him out there, but I also want to test him out in ESBR as well. So what we're going to do is today, we've got him in the androids SBR to take advantage of the androids part of his passive. If you don't know what it is, on his passive he does get attack and defense plus 100%, which is kind of like a solid foundation. Then he gets an additional defense plus 40% that stacks up to 160% per androids category ally on the team. So you see what I mean about taking advantage of the androids part of his passive. So if you have a full androids team, you've got that full 160 on passive, on top of the fact he greatly raises his attack and defense, which is raising attack and defense by 50% for one turn on super. So his defense for a stage that does as much damage as it does, like, you know, SBR and ESBR, he's going to be incredibly good for. That's why I wanted to test him out twice. One on here where he's kind of ideally on the team you kind of want him to be on. And then also I'm going to test him in ESBR to see how he does on the harder version of Super Battle Road. But unfortunately we can't take him on androids at that point, so we're going to have to probably take him on an extreme category team or something like that. So I mean, it kind of is what it is. In fact, no, we can't take him on a extreme category team. Sorry, we're gonna have to take him on a super category team. To be fair, we could put him on resurrected warriors. In terms of actual category ESBRs, we literally only have one choice, which is resurrected warriors. But I'm not sure which team I'm gonna take him on right now, because in terms of teams he fits on, based on even his links for this team aren't the greatest. He has Android Assault, which is useful. And he has Fierce Battle, which is useful for a lot of the good, like the better units in the game. But other than that, he doesn't really link to many units. The only benefit is he shares a couple links with MVP 17, who I currently have at level 10 links. So I probably might go for a super team. Because yeah, his categories just, they're not the best. To be fair, they're not the best, but ideally they're not the best for him. Especially with the links he has, because they're just not great. Like androids he's fantastic on, but there's no androids ESBR, and he's a super type unit, and because there's no androids ESBR, I can't take him on an androids team. So that's where we get stuck. That's why we've got to take him twice. But the resurrected warriors is probably the best category I could. No, I don't think there's an artificial life forms ESBRs either. So my literally only other option I think is is super, but I don't know what team I'm gonna take him on. I'll find something. I'm gonna have to find something. So this is actually the rotation we're running him on, which isn't the best, but luckily enough he won't be struggling for key. He does get Android Assault and Fierce Battle, which to be fair isn't too bad. He gets an extra defense, not that he really needs it, but he also gets an extra attack plus 15% for Fierce Battle. So we do kind of have the important links off. And as I've already mentioned, he is one bulky boy. He has 231k defense just by being on this team, which for Super Battle Road and eventually, especially for Extreme Super Battle Road, is going to be incredibly useful. So in slot 2, he's going to become a pretty much indestructible, just metal, android wall. He's going to be made up of all other broken androids around him. Like, he's essentially just wearing all the other androids as armor. His damage output isn't too bad. It isn't the greatest, but it isn't too bad. Thankfully, as I said, we are getting Fierce Battle off, which means we are getting primarily one of his few attack links we're actually getting off. To be fair, he does get 10% from support, and he does get solid support, and he does get primarily one of his only attack links is literally Fierce Battle and solid support. So yeah, luckily enough, we are actually getting one of them off, which is quite useful for a unit that doesn't have the greatest damage output. It's not bad. After his EZA, it's definitely not bad. It's just not insane, but it's respectable. It's solid damage. It's solid damage. It's just nothing ridiculous. So literally in that second slot, he is going to be, as I said, just indestructible. Raises his attack and defense for 50%, on top of the fact he has attack and defense plus 100%, and the additional 160 because we're on a full Android category team. And then not only that, just to make him just a little bit more bulky, but for a unit that is already as strong defensively that he is, it doesn't bother me as much compared to like Vegeta and the EZA Super Saiyan 3 Trunks. Still not a fan of it, but it doesn't matter for a unit like this completely because he's already so tanky. And that's the fact that he does have a guard. He does have a high chance to guard, which is 50%. I don't like chances to guard, but when you already have over 200k defense, it just kind of doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna put him in slot 1 to take all those attacks, and he's just gonna take all basics. Literally, he's just gonna take all basics. 3 million attack stacks. Of course, he greatly raises attack and defense the turn prior that he was on, which means his damage output's pretty good. 3 million is a very good attack stat. Prior to that, nothing special. And then look at that, not even double digits. He took 9 damage. 9. So again, I'm not a fan of high chances to guard. I'm still not a fan of chances to guard full stop. But when a unit is this tanky already before even guarding, if he guards, even if you super him, you might as well have just spat on him. Which I probably wouldn't do to Android 16 because he'll probably Hell's Flash you straight into the ground. So probably don't spit on him. But yeah, literally, you might as well have sneezed in the vicinity because you're not going to do any damage to this guy. Like, defensively, he's an absolute tank. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if secretly he was an actual transformer and he transformed into a tank. Like, that's how bulky this guy is. As I said before, the only thing that lets him down but isn't really an issue, or currently isn't an issue in this SBR run, is his links aren't the greatest. So we're not struggling for key, which is nice, and also his links aren't the greatest. Which, usually in some cases, I would say the links will be a major problem, but currently they're not. The fact that we are getting one of his only attack links off in Fierce Battle is quite useful to help him do some extra damage, especially after he's super attacked and then comes back after he's greatly raised his attack and defense. But yeah, the only kind of thing that still lets him... Actually, it's also his categories, but if you're on an Android category, you've got him in the perfect place anyway. Like, you've got him in his happy place, pretty much. And even better now, we've got the androids on, the LR androids on rotation, who's giving him an extra, what, attack and defense plus 30%? No, 40%, no. It's just attack plus 40%. He doesn't even need the defense. Like, it just doesn't matter. He doesn't need it. Like, he's that strong. But I will ask this, though. And I think I have asked this before, but I will ask it again. Since we are currently in SBR, because of, as I said, the way, you know, there's not that many stages when it comes to ESBR currently on Dokkan. I wish they would hurry up with those. Also, with there being essentially specific to this scenario, there not being an Android's ESBR, you know, Android 16 being a super type unit, not an extreme unit, and Android's category primarily or 95% being made up of extreme type units. And we're going to be taking him into SBR, currently what we're doing now, and then eventually taking him into ESBR to see how he does, not on an Android's team, and also in an ESBR slot. And then, you know, I would even be tempted to take him into ESBR on an Android's category team to see how he does ideally in ESBR. But that I'll have to wait for. I mean, to be fair, 196k on a base on a super attack isn't bad in the grand scheme of things when you think about how much damage SBR and ESBR can do to you. Of course, if his guard was active, that would literally have probably done next to nothing. But I said, when a unit is that bulky, it doesn't really, like, I've literally used one item. And because I don't need to bulk up for Android 16, I'm just going to use an Usher instead. Rildo's currently, I didn't realize he was stunned. I've kind of been in essentially, what's that thing called on cars? I've been kind of in cruise control. Just because of how easy this has been. I haven't had to worry about any damage we take. I've been in cruise control. So yeah, that does leave me to ponder the question. Let me know down in the comments. I'll even pin it as well, just in case you don't make it this far into the video. Hopefully you do. And that is, would you, when there are new units that drop and we pull them, when there's new EZAs, when there's new Dokkan Awakenings, do you want me to not only just take him into the GT Goku event and ESBR like I typically do, would you also want me to take them into SBR and the old Goku event as well? See, I have the mindset of, which I guess can kind of be applied, like it is quite logical, but at the same time is, they might be a little bit more suited for the older ones because they are easier and there's some slight differences in terms of like Goku and GT Goku event in terms of like more attack, more defense, more HP. They lower your attack and defense on certain phases, things like that. Would you want me to also take, as I said, new units that have got new Dokkan Awakenings and EZAs? Would you want me to take them into the older SBR and Goku event as well as just GT Goku event in the SBR and kind of give them the full test of every event in the game? Or are you kind of like me where it's like, okay, if they can handle ESBR and GT Goku event, then there's just kind of no point? Let me know down in the comments, that'd be quite useful. Obviously in this case scenario, I kind of need to be taking him in both SBR and ESBR just because of the whole, let's see how he does ideally on an Android's team where he's going to be suited perfectly, get that 160 defense. And also it'll kind of be a good way to test him in ESBR as well, but the only thing that kind of isn't a fair test, but we can kind of test also at the same time, is that, well, actually it's two things. One, the ESBR is obviously a bit more difficult than SBR, but also that he won't be ideally on his best team, which is Android, so then we can see how he does not on an Android's team. The only thing that kind of comes into play with that, where I start thinking kind of logically, is the fact that would you even run him? Would you even run this EZA 16 on any team apart from Androids? One, because of course, his passive. That's ideally where he works best. Of course, in this scenario, the only thing that's a little bit different is there's currently no Android's ESBR, so I kind of have to do it. So I guess we're kind of be doing, you know, two tests, two birds with one stone, essentially by accident. And also his links, and also the fact that he doesn't go on many categories. So I mean, you know, it's one of those where you probably wouldn't take him on another category team apart from Androids, just because of how, like, that's literally the perfect place to run him. If you do run him on another team, you can only pick up, I mean, he will get an extra additional defense, especially if you're running MVP 17 and stuff, because you can get defense plus 40%. It's not like you're getting a lower percentage on that. We actually got a new record in the Androids SVR as well. But yeah, instead of me continuing to ramble, as I said, just let me know down in the comments. In future, would you like to see me take units into SBR, ESBR, Goku event, GT Goku event, rather than just the two harder events in GT Goku event and ESBR as well? Do let me know. As I said, I will pin it in the comments. As I said, I was literally in cruise control for the entirety of that. He is literally perfect. Perfect on an Android's team because of that additional 160% like defense he gets, and also the chance to guard on top of that. Again, I'm not a fan of chances to guard, but when you're that bulky anyway, especially after he supers, absolute tank. So I don't doubt eventually when there is an Android category SBR that he will be a priority to run on that team. Android's Goku event as well, GT Goku event, normal Goku event, he's going to be a must as well, because he will be an absolute brick wall. Especially if he guards, that means he'll take no damage on supers. On basics, he's taking double digits or less every single time. He is a must for the harder events when it comes to androids. Outside of that, I said I do want to try him in the SBR. The only thing is, I don't know what team I'm going to run him on. The only kind of shining light in that, the silver lining is, at least I can get him linked with at least one android category ally, which will be not Super 17, MVP 17. So there is that, but let me know what you think of that in the comments. He's an absolute brick wall. He is perfect for both of the harder events in the game, easily. So eventually, as I said, when there is an Android ESBR, this guy's going to be a must. I'll see you in the next video, guys, and peace.